Well, ladies,
Yes.
Cheers.
Here we go. Cheers. It's the bubbly.
And the fruit plate.
Yes. And that's the bottle that the Italians say. That's the bottle with the brand around it.
That's
You know
right.
how they serve it
With
to
the-
you.
yeah. Oh, that's grand. Can't beat that.
Oh, two of them.
What?
Two little of these little
Yeah,
things.
little
Little things.
ottomans or whatever.
Yeah. That's us as we arrived. Why would they only have two life jackets?
The first biography has covered many royals, including Prince William's father. They're known for tracking down old footage, and they found Prince Charles's first.
Folks all, Station G, if I get you all to move back towards the wall.
Deck 12 up on top of the ship for our sail away getting together. We got some live music for you there as we say goodbye to Vancouver, and we'll be heading north to Alaska. So I'll see you up there and come and meet all our friendly crew staff. That's happening right at this moment.
A bit late for a take. Ninth, one down.
Yeah, no, we're on the 10th now.
Now, yes.
Okay, well, I'll see you back here.
One coin. The other one's good. Oh, I got a couple of cherries. No, I'm not a winner. Okay, well, I gotta go back haven't got any haywires. Oh, look at that. Okay, I don't like this machine. It never lines up. Take it down to 70. Oh, come on.
$30 just for being a latitude number.
Yeah, I don't like this machine. Oh, God. Oh, there she is. Oh, it's... Oh, so close, yet so far.
I don't like these machines.
cabin fever. No.
Ticket over. View Wallace will have South Sawyer Glacier visible over on starboard bow, and then that'll.
Danger. That's a pilot in the back.
سر داده بیاره جمعیت کشتی
That's the pilot in the back. Niño. Mami. Mario. Lucho.
Where's the zoo? I'm gonna wait till we get a little closer. Beautiful. Fully ice over there. Ice on it. You're right.
We want to see your face. When you get back, I'm going to see 4 dark holes. There you go. That's it.
Look at that waterfall. You can see the water coming down.
Mountains are so steep.
Now, isn't this the height of luxury, sitting in your own
There's
suite?
a seal right there swimming. Look.
Where,
Right in the
oh, yes,
water.
I see it. I see it. Good, I seen a seal.
I wonder if he'll get up out of the water. Well, I've done pretty well this trip. I've seen
You have? Yeah.
whales and porpoises and no dolphins, white-sided dolphins.
No, he's going right past that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, jeez.
I'm all excited. I was sure it was something like a bear.
Oh, God. He's doing that for the people on board.
Oh, a guy's got a bat or something.
Yeah.
Paddle.
Crazy. Is he in a bear suit?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a guy in a bear suit.
Oh.
It is
dear.
really a guy in a bear suit.
He just took his head off.
Oh, dear.
Oh, and look at the seal checking him out here. See the seal right here?
Where?
Oh, he just,
Oh,
went,
he just went down. I
Yeah.
saw him there.
Seal's checking him out, going, what the hell is going on? That was funny. It's a bear. It's a big grizzly. That's pretty damn silly.
Oh, he's right to view. Wait for him, Mr. Burke. That's it. Just wait. Okay, hold it. All right.
Look at
Yeah.
it. It's melting like crazy.
All right, look this way. Not too bad. Look this way for me. There we go. Once again, 3. Big smiles. 1, 2, 3. And one more time. Let's do it. Okay. Hold it there. That's good. Big smiles. Hold it. Gymnastics. There you go.
Cool, look at the middle of it. Yes, blue is going to be, yeah. Look at the blue on the very top there. Yeah. Almost doesn't belong. No, it doesn't. As though it's been chopped right down there in the middle of it. Would you like a slush or a float?
I do think so. I
For
might
our
eat it
younger
up.
passengers.
I see. I might just have one here.
Oh, it's a Mai Tai.
Are you filming or watching?
I'm going to have
Filming.
a Mai Tai.
We're doing a historical skyway. That's why it's there. And then bus stop.
Skagway is 24 blocks by 4, and there's only one main street, which is called Broadway. And we're actually going to go down it, and I will point out some shops for you. I think your ship leaves at 8 tonight? Oh,
4:30.
oh, 4:30. Okay, so you have a little bit of time to shop. Hopefully.
What's her name? Popcornville.
If you guys want to put on some boas and take a picture, feel free.
Well, folks, go ahead and get some hot apple cider and some cookies. Once you've done that, you can go take a seat in the Hippodrome. This is the star of our show here, so we'll bring him down on stage first.
Heavy, yes, but big, no.
Never mind, Corey.
The Hippodrome. Where's Mama?
She's up ahead here.
I got that. You might even remember that one. How about more? Let's stay on the aisle. There we go.
It's perfect combination.
Let's hear it for Snowshoe Scott, the Liarsville Orchestra. And might I add, #1 selling recording artist in Liarsville. Very impressive. Did you talk to the folks at all? No? We got a few seconds while the rest of the people get down here. Any of you folks from out of town? Good, local crowd, nice. Now, how many of you are in Alaska for the first time? Yeah? Wow, me too. How many have never been here before? It's about half and half. Wow.
You catch her.
Huh?
You catch her.
Uh-oh. What'd she do? Something good? I missed something good? I hate it when that happens. Well, I think the star of our show is almost ready to come down. There he is. I see him now. Making his way down the center aisle. The star of our show, folks, here he is. The masculine, the handsome, the talented, Kobuk the dog. Come on, Kobe. Bring this sissy. Let's hear it for Kobuk. Well, folks, this is Kobuk, the star of our show, and I'd like you to make him feel nice and warm and welcome. I want everyone to say, "Hi, Kobuk." Hi, Kobuk. See how he lit up? Look at that. Amazing. Well, folks, we do get a lot of questions about Kobuk here, so I will answer the most frequently asked of those. First off, a lot of folks look at him and ask us if he's a wolf. Some people ask if he's a bear. But mostly people just ask, has he been fed? Yes, he's very well fed. No, he's not a wolf nor a bear. He is a giant Malamute. Malamute being the breed and giant being pretty much self-explanatory. He is indeed a giant among Malamutes. Now, these dogs were originally bred up above the Arctic Circle for working and very after the show. All that we ask is you give him a little bit of room and you don't accidentally step on him or lean on him while taking a photo. And don't grab his chain or jerk his neck around to pose him for a photo. If you want to put Jess over here in a headlock for a picture, that's fine. Just not Kobuk, because unlike Jess, Kobuk is a kind and loving animal. And we'd like to keep him that way, as I'm sure you would too. Now, Kobuk, unlike Jess, again, also happens to be a highly skilled and trained performer. And we'll have him do a few tricks for you. Would you like to see some tricks? Yeah! Come on, Kobe. Over here, buddy. Yoo-hoo. There we go. Come on, Kobe. Kobuk, sit. Oh. Hey, you don't see that every day. All right, there's more, folks. Kobuk, shake. Yeah. What a firm, manly handshake he's got. Now, this is the grand finale, folks. I need total quiet and concentration to pull this off. I hope he does it. Kobuk, eat! Yes! Give him a big round of applause!
Well, folks, if you get a chance to watch Kobuk walk off there, you might realize where we got that phrase up here that if you're not the lead dog, scenery never changes. Pretty much what you got right there, folks. Well, now that the star of our show has left the stage, I'd like to let you all know that if you truly enjoy your time out here, which of course we hope that you do, we'd love it if you went back and told your shore exes, your families and friends. We don't get a whole bunch of press out here, that's why. We do get the occasional entry in the police law, but we're not counting that right now. And if for some strange reason you don't fully enjoy your time out here, we'd kind of appreciate if you just kept that to yourselves. Well, that behind me, I'd like to welcome you all to Liarsville on yet another beautiful day, but more specifically, to the world-famous Liarsville Hippodrome! E for effort. We're gonna give you one more try there, folks. The world famous Lyersville Hippodrome!
Town. Now this amazing entrepreneur got her start making and selling pies, filled with that old Stampeder favorite, dehydrated apples. But entertainers made good money, though the entertainment back in Skagway tended to be a bit more of the intimate nature, with the finest names such as Big Desi, the Oregon Mare, and Hall Annie, who could all be found at the notorious Red Onion Saloon, a downstairs bar, upstairs brothel. And now Big Desi was doubtlessly known for her ample personality. The Oregon Mare was called this because she laughed and danced like a horse. But my favorite girl was Hall Annie, because she kept a dried pea in her pocket. Well, now you see, back in those days, if a miner liked you and wanted to give you a tip, he'd open up his gold poke and tell you to take a pinch of gold dust. Well, Annie would smile very sweetly, slip her hand in her pocket, and pinch that dried pea as hard as she could between her thumb and forefinger, until she had an indentation. That way, when it was Annie's turn to take a small pinch of gold dust, well, she got a substantial increase in the size of her tips. These were the ladies of the Red Onion Saloon. It was a big place full of laughter, music, and warmth. The bar had watered-down whiskey at 2 bits a hoist, mum champagne at $10 a quart, and dolls, 10 of them on the back bar. And now those downstairs dolls were not for sale, but the ones upstairs were. So when a gentleman went to see an upstairs doll, the downstairs doll was laid on its back. And when that gentleman came back downstairs, the doll was set upright again. And that's how a fella could tell if his favorite girl was free.
Free?
I mean available.
Aw, shucks.
By the way, fee for services rendered was $5. And like most jobs, the fee depended on your experience. Now, when I first came up here, my mama told me to pick nice, clean friends. And I'll leave it to you boys if I can't pick ya. And nice and clean. I'll see y'all later at the Red Onion Saloon, and don't you be late.
Let's give it up here for Mademoiselle Cardinal City. Was actually hoboing his way down to Mexico. I know it sounds strange, but I'm speaking of Robert Service the poet. Any of y'all ever heard of Robert Service? Yeah. Oh, great, some Robert Service fans here. Well, Robert Service became the Bard of the Yukon, the king of the Klondike poets, even though he didn't actually even make it up into the Yukon until about 5 or 6 years after the gold rush had already ended. But he was still able to gather enough stories from the miners that were still hanging around, gather enough inspiration, whenever and whatsoever the manner of death he died. Be it battle, murder, sudden wealth, pestilence, hooch, or lead, I swore on the book that I'd follow and look until I found my tombless dead. For Bill was a dainty kind of cuss, and his mind was mighty sought on a dinky patch with flowers and grass in a civilized boneyard lot. And where he died and how he died, well, it didn't matter a damn, as long as he had a grave with frills and a tombstone epigram. So, I painted a 3-foot slab of pine. Here lies poor Bill Mackay, and hung it up on my cabin wall, and I waited for Bill to die. Well, the years passed away until at last one day came a girl with a story strange of a long deserted line of traps way back in the Bighorn Range, of a little cabin by the Great Divide and a white man stiff and still lying there by his lonesome self, and I figured that must be Bill. So I thought of the contract I'd made with him, and I pulled down from the shelf that swell black box with the silver plate that he picked out for himself, and I packed it full of grub and hooch, and I loaded it on my sleigh, harnessed up a team of dogs, and I was off at the break of day. Woof, woof. North by the compass. North I pressed, and River Peak and Plain, and passed like a dream that I slept to lose, but that I woke to dream again. Yes, River Plain and mighty Peak, and who could stand unawed? as their summits blazed, he could stand undazed at the foot of the throne of God. North! Ah, north, through a land accursed, shunned by the scouring brutes, and all I could hear were my own harsh words.
Rattle, stubborn guy, die!
And the whine of the Malamutes.
Yipe, yipe, yipe!
Till at last I came to a cabin squat, tucked into the side of the hill. Well, I burst through the door, and there on the floor, frozen to death, lay Bill, sparkling ice in the dead man's chest, glistening ice in his hair, ice in his fingers, and ice in his heart, ice in his glassy stare. Hard as a log, and trussed like a frog, with his arms and his legs outspread. Well, I looked at the coffin I'd brought for him, and then I looked at my gruesome dead, till at last I spoke. Now, Bill liked his joke, but still, God darn his eyes. A man ought to consider his mates in the way he goes and dies. Have you ever stood in an Arctic hut, in the shadow of the pole, the little coffin 6x3 in a grief you can't control? Have you ever stood by a frozen corpse that looks at you with a grin? It seems to say you may try all day, but you'll never jam me in. Well, I'm not a man of the quitting kind, but I never felt so blue as I sat there staring at that stiff and studying what I'd do. But then I rose, and I kicked off the husky dogs that were nosing round about. And I lit a roaring fire in the stove, and I started to thaw Bill out. Well, I thawed, and I thawed for 13 days, but it didn't seem no good. His arms and his legs, they stuck out like pegs, as if they were made of wood. Till at last I said, it ain't no use, he's froze too hard to thaw. He's obstinate and he won't lie straight, so I guess I got to saw. So, I sawed off poor Bill's arms and legs. Well, and I laid him snug and straight in that little coffin he picked out himself, the one with the dinky silver plate. And I came nigh near to shedding a tear as I nailed him safely down, slung him on my Yukon sleigh, and I headed back for town.
Ha! Woof!
Well, then I buried him, as the contract was, in a narrow grave indeed. And there he awaits the great cleanup when the judgment's loose and sweet. And I smoke my pipe and I meditate in the light of the midnight sun, and I often wonder if there ever was them awful things I'd done. And as I sit in the parson talks, expounding of the law, I often think of poor old Bill, and how hard he was to saw. The Ballad of Blasphemous Bill by Robert Service. Special Effects Department and the Musical Department. Well, folks, we have done pretty much everything we set out to. But we proved to you that we spare no expense for your entertainment out here at Liarsville. You've seen Kobuk the Wonder Dog. You've got your obligatory dose of Robert Service. You've got the history of Liarsville. You've seen the lovely ladies of Liarsville. And well, I got a stage full of devilishly handsome men right here for you. Why are you laughing? That's funny. Apparently the handsome men have the day off. Well, there's one thing we have not done for you yet, folks, and that is...
We're gonna do your laundry! Oh, yeah. Everyone in the front row strip.
Oh, really?
Come on, folks.
We're serious.
Go on.
Second row's fine.
Come on!
Disappointing.
Oh! around to people with gold fever. Now, don't you worry, folks. We're going to strike it rich soon enough. But first off, I'm going to give you a little coaching session on how to pan for your gold. Now, folks, what we have here is a gold pan. It's filled with dirt and...
Oops. I'm losing my feathers.
Lovely day.
That's why I'm saying I have in the cave because it's right next to where the spoon bed used to be, and that's where the man used to be. So unfortunately, a lot.
7 years old. And he just likes his belly rubbed. And I'm not fanning for gold, I'm rubbing Kobe's belly.
Okay, big wave, big wave.
I want to go and ask this guy whether... That's what I thought, but they sworn that. I just have to.
No, they've spoiled it. They had all kinds of corsets and
Still have it?
Packing this stuff over in multiple trips. How come the stuff didn't get stolen at the other side?
Time Western bad man. was a conman who took over Skagway during the winter of 97-98. He landed here with only a few Confederates, but through a combination of skill and guile, he soon controlled an underworld of more than 200 gamblers, swindlers, and thugs.
No.
Go read it. Okay.
Spend all our time in there, and I mean it was very well done. It was beautiful, but in a way it was a lot like the BC Museum,
Yeah.
of course. You know, so very similar with the Indian.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the route. That's really something.
Must be rush hour. At the top there, yeah. Every one of them.
Probably just to draw in the Canadians on the
Uh-huh,
cruise ships.
that's about it. She's standing on the high part of the road.
Now
so,
you always say
so
that.
Just grab it and go. Yeah. Yeah, hang on, we go up.
Holy. Beautiful.
Here's the Rocky Mountain photo.
It's just about a life-threatening experience. Up to our eyeballs. Don't help me eating.
Okay, stop it.
What you doing?
No, I don't think that's it.
Well, how do you get off up there? Look, it's standing out.
Oh, you're right.
Out in the air.
I think you're right. No, unless there's a walkway along the top or something.
We did this at What's that shape there?
A land Go about it.
That isn't the princess. That may be the Holland America. No, no, it's a small one.
I'd like to point out, right there on the right side of the car, the concrete structure on the side of the mountain there. That was the home of the Alaska Juneau Mill. Juneauites are called the AJ Mine. They have produced about $80 million worth of gold from 1916 to 1944.
Wow.
The photograph I have right here is the way it looked in 1939. Burned down in the early 60s.
Just laying out there for you to grab.
Kind of shows nothing lasts forever. For us guests in the channel, we do have Douglas Island. You can access about that bridge over there. Douglas Island is about 17 miles long and 5 miles wide. It's also home of the old Treadwell mine at one time. And we also got Joe Cap Mountain Range way off out there in the distance. Snow Cap Mountain's up in the left corner of the car, way up in this corner here. You'll see it better when you're up there at the Sky Bridge. You'll also be able to see the Mendenhall Valley and our little airport we got out there, Juneau International Airport. Don't look for a big building, it's just because Alaska Airlines goes every place.
P&O, so it
Small
could be
building.
either some places.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the one that was in
Yeah, that's ours.
Green
Oh, isn't it? It's nice.
Some of the wildlife can be seen up through here. It'll be black bear, black-tailed deer, red-tailed hawks, eagles, ptarmigan, the Alaska state bird, marmots, porcupines, and squirrels.
Gorgeous.
Well, unfortunately, they're not animatronics, so we can't make them come out. They tend to appear when they want to, especially the black bears.
Well, we're at Eagles Rest down on this mountain.
Good grief, what a ways up.
It's a 20-minute film, starts every half hour. We also have the Mount Roberts Nature Center for all those who be interested in hiking trails or wildlife information.
I don't think
You need
that's
to
the
go
same
there to
princess.
Slow Gas, Slow Guide at the Mount
Really,
Roberts
it's not
Nature
the same
Center.
princess, do you think
Oh, yeah,
so?
it's the same one.
A few
Is
safety
it?
tips over here on the
Old people, you know, they can rest. That's like Grandma used to do, you know, because they go to bed early, you know. They go to bed early, not her. No.
Piles up, it slides down the mountain. And snow is heavy, especially our snow is wet. So that kind of forms these. You can see this one, they grow out. Look at that, it's like 10 feet growing out before it starts to grow up. Now once they start
Oh, there's one peak. Yes, there. Mount Jumbo. Donald.
Yes, you tread well, mind.
Yeah. Let's see the Mayflower. When the glacier went, melted or whatever, the land rebounded, and that used to be seafloor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just saying that shelf that you see used to be underwater, the seafloor, but once the glaciers, the land rebounded. Where's their dreams?
Someone's throwing rocks!
Yeah, to do the Panama.
Hello?
We wander down then. What time is it? It's 12 o'clock. So what time do you take off today? Yeah, we got the same time.
So what we do is we go back down, go and have some lunch on the boat, and then we're going to town. Yeah.
Well, nice talking to you.
You too.
Enjoy the
Yeah.
cruise. Take care. Oh yeah, well, we end on Monday, I guess. Oh, okay.
Looking forward to that as well.
Oh, of course, you've never been there. Stanley Park. And if you get a chance to go over to Victoria.
We're going to the gardens over there.
Yeah, Buchok Garden.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you have time, go to the museum.
Good. Stand still.
They're beautiful.
He's taking a picture.
Isn't that gorgeous? And then they just nod over.
Beautiful.
Are they? Oh yes, trucks down there.
Can't quite identify them, but there's something in there.
I think they look like a size 8 Reebok.
No, you see a little.
Bear.
No, it's not bear. It's too small. It's not dog either. What it is?
Hot dog.
Oh, look. Oh, isn't that nice? Look,
it? Ah, they might have called him.
Really
Box and then it like cuts off.
Just here for the food.
Goes up like that. It's that building right behind it.
Every promise you've ever made, you've never kept. Yeah, no love for the politicians.
Okay, do that again. What's your name, little girl?
Oh, the old guy.
Look, it's the blind puppies fun.
Yes, it is. Sarah with the Luna Parks. It will be one of those gray lines right up there. Yeah. One of those guys.
Morning. I'd like to welcome. We do feed these eagles every other day in the summer and every day in the winter time. We feed them salmon and shot from our hatchery. We also raise rudders that we feed them. And they'll eat anywhere from 1 to 1.5 pounds each feeding, about 10% of their body weight. Then these eagles are bonded or mated clear When eagles bond or mate, they become lifelong partners and only mate with a lifelong partner. But if one of them were to die, the other would start looking for a younger mate. This nest egg really starts. Anyone can tell if the fish is attacked or not. They've inserted in their nose. It's a millimeter long stainless steel.
It's called The Pole Dedicated to Those Who Give, and it tells the story behind our Heritage Center here. Now, totem poles were the only form of written language that these people had until the mid-1800s. When missionaries helped the elders compose a written form of their language, they had to add an additional 14 characters to the normal alphabet to take this complex language and put it in written form. Before that, the written tradition was pretty much the totem poles, an oral tradition supported by characters and figures. They were used for a variety of things: gravestone markers, historical records, coats of arms in front of the houses. They were used to tell mythical stories and moral lesson stories to the children, as well as great feats and heroes for shame and for honor. By tradition,
the Northwest Coast design, and they are an element that the people would use to indicate joints of a creature, such as your socket to your.
Okay, now make the dogs roll over.
Strong people just right there at the door. In addition, when people were actually invited in to a clan house, they would enter in the same way, bent over head first. And this was kind of a sign of respect or bowing to the chief who lived at this particular part of our clan house here. Oftentimes the chief would even have a privacy screen erected in this particular area with a small living door type hole cut into it. He would be the only one in the entire clan house that got any privacy though. They didn't hang up, there was no walls, no hanging furs, no delineated space. It was all just kind of out in the open. We have 30 to 50 people living here, doing everything you do in life. And so a lot of times they had to practice selective ignoring behaviors, what was going on around them. To one side of us would be our village shaman, of great importance not only for his religious and spiritual knowledge, their tools and parties, anything and everything of importance to them would then be kept underneath the area where they slept. Now, to determine your family space for sleeping and for closet space, they would take the tallest member of your family, lay them end to end, and that is the space that your family got for. Now, the screen that we see on the outside of our clan house here would actually be typical of the screen in front of the chief's dwelling place. It would take a very rich clan indeed to have the screen on the outside. The screens they actually did repaint, and being on the outside, it would have to be repainted approximately every 3 years. Remember
Today, you know, the military still uses gasoline. Oh yeah. So, regular Pepsi. There you go, my dear.
Wow.
Pepsi, regular. Sure, my dear.
Ooh, look at that mammoth tusk. 25,000 years old.
She was telling us.
Hi, what's yourself? Regular Pepsi and champagne. Return inside. This is part of it. Yeah, sausage form. A little more Greek. Bullhead whale. He was 70 foot long, weighed 70 tons. His mouth was about the size of this room. It was 14 foot wide and 21 foot long. He had 200 of those in his mouth. They're lined up side by side.
Unreal. Amphibious tours.
Okay? Sounds good.
Okay, honey, run like tonight. Oh, hang on.
Hey, Mom.
Okay, we're off on our own for a little.
Alright, good.
No, they're back more towards the bridge. Big bridge. Go.
The more fish cuts.
She would have it there.
Thank you.
School of Learning.
That's on a rare day.
Welcome, love.
Europe map on the other wall.
Now you got him with the red light district in the background. We've got a photo of this setting taken over 70 years ago. Very little has changed. Except for the interiors of the rest of them. They're all gift shops now.
But I don't know if I'm gonna work with it.
See, nobody's here. Want to get somebody to pretend they work at the book shop? No, there's videos say that no one's here.
What does it say exactly? What does it say exactly?
What's this dumb? Hey, can we get you to work at the book next for 30 seconds?
Do that, we was there.
Okay, I don't know.
So David, I don't know where that is.
Pero acércate más, para el frente. Ahí.
Here's a chocolate cheesecake, I think, or cheesecake of some kind.
It's almost too good. And if I that's something right, then I don't know. So it's really something.
Cody did.
Girls?
It's unbelievable. I'm not sure which way the line's going. There's your chocolate cake. Ooh, it's got raspberry in it. I gotta have that one. Is that the same?
How many of you, buddy? Oh, no problem.
Chocolate corn time. That's neat. I have to try one, yes. Oh, they're all in sauce. No. You're gonna. I just want a crisp one. Thank you. Look, chocolate. Want the bananas? Right there.
I know.
Okay, now let's get the hell out of here. You can sit at the table.